there. Come on in. Hey, what's up, everybody? As you're coming in, be sure to introduce yourself. Tell me who you are, where you're scoping in from, where you're joining this broadcast from, your name, what you do, so you can network while we listen to this amazing song by Francesca something called Giants Fall. What's up, Georgia? What's up, Cheryl? Hey, Shirley from Chicago. What's up, Georgia? I love this song. As you're coming in, introduce yourself. Tell us even what you do as well, all right? I love this song. It's by, I can't say her last name. I think it's Francesca Battistelli maybe, but it's called Giants Fall. Hey, Dr. Christine Cosby. I think you came to me University back in 2012, right? I have a good memory sometimes. Hey, Shayla. Hey, Dr. Nurse Gail. I know you were just on the broadcast I just finished with Paul. Love this song. This is my jam right now. Is Paul's show going to air on the West Coast? I'm not sure if there's a time delay. I just know it comes on 10 p.m. Eastern, Saturday. Hey, Kelly, thanks for being on the broadcast with Paul as well. If I could sing, I would just go crazy. Love this song because it talks about how giants fall, how anything is possible with God. You're going to see the hand of God in every little thing. Love this song. I just want to be able to have my microphone and be like this. So the stones inside your hand might be small, but watch them giants fall. Love it. I love this part as well. Miracles can happen. Hey, Sade. Anything is possible. Watch them giants fall. Yay. Hey, everyone. Yes, Queen's Chair. Look, thank you so much for hopping on with me. I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Marshawn Evans Daniels, and although I'm sure you thought that was me singing, it was not. It's one of my favorite songs on repeat right now. Literally, I'll listen to it all day, so it soaks into me, but it's called Giants Fall. I think her name is pronounced Francesca Battistelli. I was actually looking up a song, and then I ended up stumbling across her and listened to her whole playlist, and I just absolutely love this song. So I encourage you to go get it, to purchase it, and add that to your playlist. Again, my name is Marshawn Evans Daniels, reinvention strategist, life catalyst, and founder of the Godfidence movement at godfidence.com if someone wants to throw that up. My passion is faith in business, and if you want to learn more about how you can build an extraordinary life and business, you can connect with me at marshawn.com. I have a new website. I saw even more drafts today, y'all. I'm so excited about the new website, but that will be coming live soon. I have some new programs and a new event that'll be coming up this fall. So if you want to be on the inner circle and have the inside scoop as to when all of that is happening, be sure that you go there and sign up at marshawn.com. Hey, thanks for all of you that are putting the URLs up there. I appreciate it. And thank you, Sade. Thank you for inviting other people as well. Real quickly, before I dive right into this topic, I just finished a broadcast a few moments ago with a good friend of mine, Paul Carrick Brunson. He is a television host. He's had shows on Black Enterprise, with the Oprah Winfrey Network. He reminded me about some stuff he was doing with VH1 and some other networks. But he has a show coming out this week, Saturday, May the 27th at 10 p.m. Eastern. And it's called Help I need love. So one of the things that I'm doing, because he's like a brother from another mother, very special to me and my husband. He was actually the MC at our wedding, and we met at one of his events. So we are wanting to get the word out to promote his new television show. He executive produced it, and it's on a major network, ABC. So I want to encourage you to set your DVRs. When you do so, it'll probably show 2020 on your DVR. But you've got the right thing, okay? It's going to show. Thank you so much, Dr. Nurse Gail. So set your DVR and make sure that you watch it and record it so that you can watch it again, and that will help get the ratings up so we can get the whole season to be able to air. If you'd like to see the interview that I just did with him, it was an awesome, inspiring, and fun time. Many people who are on right now were actually on that broadcast and are probably like, why is she still back online again? Isn't she tired? I'm like, no, I'm pumped. So I thought I'd share some business advice with you, but you can go to facebook.com/Ask Marshawn, and you can see the replay up right now. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Dr. Nurse Gail, Kelly, those of you who were on that broadcast. It already has like 30-something thousand views in terms of all of the shares and the reach. So that is fantastic. Let's keep it going. I'm super proud of him. I'm proud of a lot of the things that my friends are doing. I think it's so important for us to support others. And my husband was actually doing another project while I was doing that interview, but he got to hop on at the very end and express his support as well. And so one of the things that happened a couple of days ago is I was testing out some software, and you'll probably see that test on my Facebook page if you go there. I've got about 8 hours worth of complimentary training that I have provided for you to be able to grow your life and your business, and spiritually as well, to develop your spiritual resilience, which is my passion. It's my real passion, is helping you have the mindset necessary to step into the life that you desire, to increase your wealth, increase your influence, but also to have a lifestyle where miracles are just happening through you. That should be the normal for us. And one of the questions that came up while I was testing out this new software, I did an impromptu Q&A. Somebody asked me, well, what is the secret for attracting quality leads on social media, like quality clients on social media? This person was expressing that they were having trouble attracting the type of people that would be a buyer's type of an audience. And I thought it was a really great question. I think my answer was actually really great as well, but it was kind of impromptu, and I thought about it. And I kind of came up with 5 points that I wanted to share with you. So what I want to ask you to do before I dive into that is to invite others. So could you swipe and invite, either swipe left or right, depending on what device you're on, or swipe up, and invite others to connect on this broadcast as well. Thank you so much, TMI Coaching Solutions, Neek, 2015, Cheryl, Kelly, thank you all so much. Janet, Dr. Nurse, Gail, fellow GBSer, Arian Maccabee. Ran into Arian at an event in Atlanta, and she recognized me, and then when she told me her name, I was like, I know you, you're on social media all the time. And then she pointed out people who were selling my trademarked Goffin shirts that weren't a part of our business. You remember that? I remember that. Hey, Destiny Speaks in LaFox International, thank you so much for sharing this, for those of you who are sharing it with others. Yeah, that was a cool moment, huh, Arian? Happens all the time. I actually got 2 more trademarks in the mail today for some other trademarks of some new projects that are coming out. Okay, so the title of today's topic is The Secret to Attracting Quality Clients. The secret to attracting quality clients. And you know, when people ask me that question about quality clients, it usually means that they feel like they're struggling with a lack of quality. Maybe you are doing the very best that you can. You know you've got great insight or wisdom. You're blogging, you're sending out your e-newsletter, you're doing all the stuff on social media, trying to keep up with all the new things that keep coming out all of the time. You are going to different programs, and you're investing in yourself. You're doing all of the things that you think you should be doing, and maybe you're getting some responses, but you're not getting the type of response that you want. And usually that means you're not making the type of income that you would desire. I've always believed in quality over quantity. And so some people are saying, I want to have massive numbers. But I don't think that's as important as opposed to having quality numbers, a quality following. And for me, if you're in business, because a business exists for the purpose of making a profit, if you're in business, then having a quality audience means a buyer's audience, a paying audience, an investing audience, not just an interested audience, but an invested audience, not just a loud audience that gives you hearts and likes and all of those things that you can't cash, but an audience that actually replenishes what you're pouring out because you're receiving compensation for the great gifts that you're giving out into the world. And so what does it take, right, to build that type of an audience, a quality audience? And you might be thinking, especially if this is your first time listening to me, what in the world do I know about that? Well, I have been able to build a multi-seven-figure business as a coach, as a woman of faith, helping women of faith to expand their influence and income in the marketplace. And a lot of times people say, you know, it's interesting, Marshawn, I see these other people out there and they have huge followings, right? And lots of people maybe who are paying attention to what they're doing, but I kind of think they're still struggling, and most people are. There are a lot of people who have massive followings on social media and still don't have an audience of buyers, and so they have likes but no checks. You've got people who also, one of the things that I've seen in the last couple of years, especially as I've been able to pull back, I've had the blessing of being able to take the last going on 2.5 years off, which I believe that's really the sign of a thriving business, is when you don't have to work so hard and you can still go on vacations and live in your dream home and be able to have kind of peace. God says his yoke is easy and his burden is light. We're not supposed to be stressed and working and on all the time. One of the reasons why you don't see me on social media multiple times a day or every day of the week is because that's not living to me. And when I see people who are on all the time and they're constantly on, I don't think that's very elegant. I believe that God wants us to experience graceful living in a graceful business, an elegant business, elegant income. I'm not going to talk a lot about that topic right now. I'll save that for later. But, you know, having a quality audience gives you a quality of life, right? A quality of life that is really what this should be about to begin with. Having time to be with your friends and your family, having time to do the things that you enjoy. And if I'm online all the time, right? Just think about it for just a moment. If I'm online all the time, when am I working? Number one. And then number two, when am I living? If I'm always online. And so I personally am skeptical when I see people who are giving advice and they're on constantly. They don't have necessarily a set schedule, but they're on all the time. That makes me a little bit more cautious. Now, I always say, you know, quality recognizes quality, right? Quality recognizes quality. And again, I'm talking about investors, and when you've experienced what it really takes to build, to operate, to manage, run, thrive, grow, and then replicate a 7-figure business, when you've experienced that, you can see when others are really more so busy and not exactly building. And building doesn't have to mean hard, it just means being strategic. So quality recognizes quality. You want to have a quality client base so that you can have quality of life, because the quality of your client base is going to determine the quality of your business. And so what are the secrets? I have 5 tips for you. Right now that I've kind of given you that backdrop, my philosophy, my experience with this. Again, I started from scratch. When I first started my company, I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills. And I got started not because I had this massive calling or this desire to, you know, do something new. I had to pay my bills. I had to figure out how to reinvent my life. And people kept asking me these questions about how I got on television, how I was able to be a commentator on CNN and ESPN and Fox News on a regular basis. How was I able to build a sports agency that grew to becoming one of the fastest growing women-owned sports agencies in the country in less than a year? My first client that I signed in the NFL was the highest paid defensive end in the NFL in 2007, the year I signed him. He had just signed a $62 million contract, a 7-year deal worth $62 million. And so people kept asking me these questions about how I had branded myself, how I had gotten a book published by the largest business book publisher in the world. And part of me was a little embarrassed that I had all these accomplishments, I had success, I had income, and a lot of things were going well for me. And I was very embarrassed that I kind of lost all of those things when I got engaged, and I ended up calling my wedding off, and I started to close my business down to be a wife. And when all of that was swept up from underneath me, I was like, I felt embarrassed, and I really felt foolish for someone who had these types of accomplishments to find herself in a position where she didn't know how she was going to pay her bills. So I wish I could say that I did have this desire. I did feel like God was stirring up something inside of me. But I wouldn't be honest if I didn't say the number one thing I needed was to figure out how to pay my mortgage and how to make sure the light stayed on, that there was food, that I had some cushion in the bank account. And so that's right, life happened. And the unique thing about that was it gave me an opportunity to reinvent. And I looked back and I could say, you know what, I've always really operated in a quality stratosphere. And there's different dimensions that we can operate in. I believe that if we make excellence, not perfection, excellence but not perfection, are the essence of our life. It doesn't mean trying to do things in a way that competes with other people, that you're trying to be better than somebody else, but that you bring the very best of who you are to what it is that you do, and you have an expectation to operate at high levels, not from a sense of arrogance or entitlement, but understanding your divine design. Thank you for inviting other people. I appreciate that. If you have that in your expectation, in your mind, in your soul, in your spirit, that you expect to operate in quality atmospheres, in quality stratospheres, if you expect that, I started looking back and realizing that, wow, although I found myself at this kind of rock bottom place, thank you, More Passion. When I found myself at this rock bottom place, when I looked back at it, I was like, wow, I got to give myself credit. I signed NFL and NBA players as clients. Maybe it wasn't in a place in my life where I really wanted to be, but I did go to Georgetown. I did do some, pretty cool things. And I did those things before life happened, right? Life being kind of like this interruption and this unfortunate circumstance. And so I had to see myself as quality. And that's number one, is to be quality. The key to attracting quality clients is to be quality. But you can't be quality if you don't believe you're quality, even when you're dealing with trash, when you're dealing with drama, when you're dealing with mess and with nonsense, even when you're experiencing the opposite of what you like to see manifest in your life. You've got to believe beyond what it is that you're seeing. And so tip number one is to be quality, but you can't be quality unless you truly believe you are quality, that you're destined not to struggle, but to thrive. And you can start looking back over your life and looking at certain experiences and realizing that you did have quality interactions that were high level, right? So number one is to be quality. One of the things I see right now in the social media landscape, especially in this world of helpers, people who are coaches, authors, thought leaders, did I say speakers? I might have. I'm not sure. Pastors, ministers, leaders, different individuals, counselors, people who want to help other people and do help other people. If that is you, tell me what it is that you do so I can kind of see a landscape of who's listening and how you feel that you're called to serve and change other people's lives. Because usually I attract life changers to my broadcasts, either aspiring, emerging, or established ones. But one of the things that I'm seeing in this landscape of life changers is so much regurgitation, doing what's already been done, replicating what already exists. And that's not quality, that's lazy. And so it is ridiculous, in my opinion, to expect a quality client base with a lazy strategy, right? And I think the number one thing in terms of being quality is putting out your best work. Like, actually be a quality teacher, be a quality speaker, be a quality helper, be a quality server, right? That's one of the key things in attracting clients. But most people are so caught up in the numbers that they never focus on actually developing their skill set, becoming good at what they do. So they're going to be busy. And this is why most people spend all this time on social media, addicted to it, is because they're almost trying to prove that they're good enough. I didn't say that. That came from the Holy Spirit. That didn't come from me. They're wrestling and urging and trying to wrestle up, right? A following, an audience. And the truth is, a quality audience has a quality life already. So they're not sitting there. I'm like, do I want somebody who can listen to my broadcast 3-4 times a day? Do they even really have the resources to invest in a quality program? Most of my clients, those who have been clients of mine, they're busy. They're out building something. They're out already committed to growing their life and changing other people's lives. So they don't have that much time. And if their quality, and again, remember I said quality recognizes quality, they're going to be like, how is she really running a business if she has time to be online all the time? How is she really running a business if I've never seen any results? But I hear her talking about what she can do, but have I actually seen the results of that being done? And many of you are listening to the blind leading the blind. You're listening to people who are talking about things that are great topics and important topics, but when there's no real root and they're only selling fruit, you don't have enough depth to actually be able to grow from what they're sharing. So deep right there. Let that sink in. For those of you who are just joining, my name is Marshawn Evans Daniels, reinvention strategist, life catalyst, and founder of the Godfidence movement at Godfidence.com. You can connect with me at Marshawn.com and learn how to build an extraordinary life and business. I am kind of I'm on one right now. We're talking a little bit about how to build a quality client base and the secret to attracting quality clients. And tip number 1 is to be quality. But you can't be quality if you don't believe that you're quality, if you're not presenting quality, and certainly not if you're doing what's already been done. If you're selling what I call fruit as opposed to the roots. Now, what's the difference in that? The root is the depth, like real wisdom, the depth of stuff. The fruit is what you've heard other people do, and you say, oh, that works. So I've experienced a lot of people who will say, oh, I see what she's done. I will just take her website and I'll present it as my own. I'll take her forms and I'll just change the name and present them as my own. I will just take these speaking topics. I have people who have taken literally word for word from my site on a sales page. Let's say someone did this where they had the phrase Speak for Pay. Well, Speak for Pay is an event that I started, founded, launched, that's trademarked by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, called Speak for Pay. They didn't even have the ability to at least change those words, right? But what's my point? I'm not hating. I'm not mad about that. But my point is, when you see other stuff and you're just now, okay, well, I'm just going to go do what I see somebody else doing because it seems like that works. That's not quality. That's lazy. And I've never seen a person who does that. So don't get all in a twist about people who copy your stuff. I've never seen a person prosper in that space. So I actually feel sorry. Now, there's a part of me in the past that gets a little annoyed. And depending on what it is, I get even more annoyed if I have to bring a lawyer into it and then pay somebody else to defend and protect our trademarks. But I've never seen it prosper. And so I really feel bad, especially for people then who talk about being women or men of faith, and then they're copying, meaning that they don't even trust the Holy Spirit enough to give them fresh wisdom and ideas. That ain't quality, that's lazy. So number one is to be quality. Number two, let me know if y'all are tracking with me. Let me know if this is resonating with you. When I stop, I don't need the hearts for my self-esteem, but that helps me know that you're actually listening, that you're still there. Or if you present some comments, that'll let me know as well. And again, thank you for those of you who are sharing. Thank you, Arian and Cheryl and Sade. Teach, teacher, I will. Thank you so much. That's like my favorite title now is that of teacher. More so than speaker, more so. I love the author title. I have a new book coming out in January called Believe Bigger. But I love the title. I'm embracing that as teacher. So thank you so much. The second tip, number one was be quality. Number two is present quality content. Like when you present quality content that is investment worthy, it doesn't mean that it has to be, again, perfect. It can have, everybody has to start somewhere. But present some of your best content, the best wisdom that you have to offer. And the best attracts the best. Remember I said quality recognizes quality? When you operate in your wisdom, when you operate from the roots and not just the fruit, when you are presenting quality, you're able to attract quality. And this stuff is not rocket science, but this is not what people basically chase and embrace. Most people are chasing gimmicks. Gimmicks. And there is going to be a bubble that bursts. It's happening now. There is going to be a bubble that bursts. And there already is an overwhelm, an overload of information that seems exactly the same. If you're on Facebook, for example, you probably noticed that your timeline is full of the exact same advertisements from people who the only difference is their name and their photo. And everyone is saying the same thing. Whenever you hear repetition, it means it's a sign of a lazy generation, not a generation of leaders. And that stuff bursts. It bursts. And so my passion is helping to bring out freshness because there's nothing recycled, old, or expired about the Holy Spirit. So anyway, the second tip is to present quality content. Quality content. Number three is to showcase quality results. To showcase quality results, meaning that if you are presenting quality and you are pouring into quality people, showcase the quality results that they're getting. Showcase the quality results that you've experienced in your life, on your journey, with the work that you've done, and also how that's improving and impacting the lives of other people. I saw a couple of people who are on here who have either been in the Confidence Business School in terms of coaching, or who have been to an event, maybe purchased a course like Brand Class, or have been a part of my community for a while in any capacity. And I would love for you to share anything that you've learned. Anything that you've learned, even if it's just a little thing or a big thing, or what you've learned, what you've taken away, how your mind has shifted and how it's helped you change in some capacity. Because at the end of the day, the Bible even says, let another man speak of your works and not your own mouth, right? And if you can't, and you've got to also be comfortable with that. Like, quality people are not afraid of compliments. Can't be. You'll never attract that which you are uncomfortable with. So if you want to experience quality clients, you've got to almost, when you think of being something that is not, as though it already were, right? I want to make sure I make this concept very clear. You want to live as if, right? So think about, what kinds of compliments do I want from my clients? What kinds of things do I expect, and I'm in this to change people's lives, but what is it that I want people to say because their life has been changed? So, for example, Dr. Nurse Gill says, I'm a Confidence, Faith, and Business speaker. She got that certification through the Confidence Business School. And when I came up with the idea for doing that, right, I wanted someone to be able to say, I'm a certified faith and business speaker. I wanted someone to be able to say that. So I thought about that in advance. I want someone to say, when I leave this event or this program, I had a breakthrough. And if I'm shy, because so many times we think about, we hear about meekness, and we're really just hiding and shrinking and playing small. Thank you so much for sharing, Crystal. When we think about those things, we don't realize that what we're doing is we're really minimizing God. And we're saying that I don't want magnificent clients because I don't want to hear magnificent things said about me. Whenever you push a compliment away, you're saying, I don't really want magnificent things said about me. So why would God then send you quality clients to give you quality praise or quality testimonials or quality stories about their transformation and their growth and their up leveling? Why would he send those kinds of people if you're not actually going to receive their words to begin with? That's very strong right there. Ooh, that's so strong. Thank you for sharing, Purpose Mother. That is such a strong word. Real manna. Real manna. So, I mean, for some of you, this is important because one of the reasons why maybe things aren't growing is because there is a fear of actually being adored and being seen and being celebrated. And it's not that you are being arrogant to actually desire those things, but I want to be a life changer, a coach, a teacher, a speaker that gets great results, and results that that they can't wait to talk about. They can't wait to share, right? I want to experience that. I want to be the bridge for that. And so you've got to desire that. You've got to also showcase those quality results if you want to attract quality clients, okay? So that's number 3. Number 4, I've kind of alluded to it, which is don't copy. All right? You can be inspired. I certainly, with Pinterest and a lot of other sites out there, I look for inspiration in a lot of places. I was at a furniture store recently, and I looked for inspiration on new branding and new design. I get inspiration from everywhere, as should you. But, all of us are replicating because human beings are naturally imitators, but our spiritual being is creator. And so we want to embrace that part, right? And really honor God with representing the vision that he's given us. And if we don't have the vision, then we need to tap back in so that we can get that nice and fresh, okay? Number 4 is don't copy. That's right. It ain't elegant, and it certainly is not classy. Number 5, this is the last one. Number 1, we said be quality. Number 2, present quality content. Number 3, showcase quality results. Number 4, don't copy. And number 5, are you ready? Drum roll, please. Can I get a drum roll? Number 5 is to charge quality prices. Now, you couldn't be on a Make Millions scope without me talking about money, right? So I can recognize a quality business in part by its pricing. It doesn't mean that you're just charging high prices for the sake of doing it. I can also recognize when somebody is reaching beyond their own belief, right? It's okay for something to stretch you. But there are certain people who just pick random prices, and they're charging based off of fruit and not root, meaning what they've learned and not what they've lived. And you can just sense it. You can just sense like, wow, this is way overpriced. Now, someone might think that my programs are overpriced. Most of my live events range from $1,500 to $3,000 to attend. My coaching programs start at $10,000 and they go up to about $50,000. That's just the realm that I've been in terms of pricing. I saw others, mostly men, that were charging that, and I was like, wow, I've done more. Have you ever had that experience where you've seen people who've done less and make more and charge more? And I was like, I am missing out, and I have a whole nother world of wisdom that I have not learned in law school. I don't care whether it was Georgetown and how elite that school is. I did not know how they were doing that because none of my fellow law school students were making that. Even the partners at my law firm were not making that. Today, I make more than the partners at the law firm. If I was still there, man, it's a humbling moment every time I drive by that law firm. I'm not bragging at all. I'm just telling you, I had to get a whole new level of wisdom to go to a whole new place. And I had to be around other things to see, wow, there is a different way to charge for your value that you offer and for teaching. And for me, it was also important that I presented a picture of a woman of faith thriving. It's like one of my dreams, one of my desires, one of my intentions and my goals is to help women step into their wealth, to fulfill and maximize their financial potential, particularly as income generators and creators, as dreamers who also execute, and as manifestors that also happen to win a heck of a lot of souls for the kingdom at the same time. That's the Proverbs 31 woman. That's the woman who is able to have impact and influence in the marketplace, but also knows her identity at home, and her children call her blessed. That's my vision. That's what my mission is. That's my assignment in this season of my life. And when I think about that Proverbs 31 woman, there's no way that she was written about in the Bible. I think that she was so magnificent and it was so intimidating that they couldn't even mention her name. Couldn't even mention her name. But that's okay. She was known by her works. She was known by her reputation. The fact that she was a global trader, it says that she traded with foreign ships, right? Foreign merchants. That she made things. She was a creator from her hands. The fact that she did all of those things, there's no way that she was charging peanuts for those fine garments and the fabrics and the linens that she was trading. There's no way that she just charged. That wouldn't have been worthy of writing about. Not in the context of what it's talking about, living in this glory zone that she was. And so charging quality prices is an important aspect of presenting quality that attracts quality. And even as I'm talking to you right now, I'm realizing how important it is for us as women to really embrace this idea of quality living and creating a quality of life. But what does it take for that to happen? I want to encourage you to make sure that you connect with me at godfidence.com and at marshawn.com as those two sites are being worked on and being released. I'm really passionate right now and committed for us to develop the spiritual mindset that's necessary to manifest the life that we were meant to live from the inside out. Another thing that's really been heavy in my heart, heavy but in an exciting way, is what does it mean to truly have the mind of Christ? The mindset that could manifest miracles. The mindset, and I think about, wow, Christ hadn't even walked the earth yet, but someone like Moses still had the mind of Christ to be able to be used by God to part the Red Sea. Someone like Esther still had to have the mind of Christ and had to have the ability to operate with the Holy Spirit outside of the four walls of a church. You don't hear most of the good stuff that God chose to reveal and emphasize through those who wrote the Bible. You don't hear most of that stuff happening in the synagogues. You don't hear most of that stuff happening in a church. You hear most of that stuff happening in government and in business and in leadership. And I think we've just gotten it wrong all of these years. I think we've played it safe. And God doesn't call us to safety. He calls us to significance. And so if this has resonated with you, again, connect with me there on marshawn.com, and you can see some of my other trainings that I've left out for now complimentary. I will be taking those down, but they are complimentary right now on facebook.com/askmarshawn. And again, I'm super excited. I'm like so excited right now. I kind of want to announce it right now, but I'm not going to do that yet because we're not ready to take registrations. But I'm really excited about my event this fall. And helping us as women to step into our full potential and be miracle workers that manifest God's desires, and that we don't have to just pray for someone. We can be the answer to their prayers because we carry the Holy Spirit. We carry wisdom. We carry provision. We carry the ability to meet somebody else's need. If we see somebody who's homeless on the street, or a person that we know or that is looking for a car or a home, or struggling just to make their car payment or their mortgage payment, we don't just have to say, yes, sister, I'm going to pray with you about that. I'm going to stand in agreement with you for it. Versus, I got that. That's it. You don't even have to think about it anymore. That's the kind of woman that I want to be. And that's the kind of women that I want to be in covenant with and do life with and help pour into, so that you can pour into others to build that up as well. Thank you, Dr. Nose Girl. I love you so much, and I appreciate you so much. So those are my 5 tips. The secret to attracting quality clients: number 1, be quality. Number 2, present quality content. Number 3, showcase quality results. Number 4, don't copy. And number 5, charge quality prices. I would love to hear what you have taken away. And if we had an opportunity, right, to work together, if I could be your mentor, your coach, your advisor, your strategist, what would you love for me to help you with? What would you want to ask? What would we talk about at lunch or in a boardroom, strategizing and mapping out your life? What are the big questions that you have right now? I'd be curious to know that, especially as I'm kind of honing in on some specific topics for this upcoming event and our new site. I'd love to hear from you, because I consider you quality, and I would love to hear your opinion and your desires, your interest. You know, how could I help you? How would you want me to help you? How could I be of an assistance in your life, or helping you enter the next level of your purpose, your income, or your influence, your relationship, whatever that might be? Let me know. Type it on the screen. Do. And then I'm going to bed. I don't even know what time it is. What time is it? We still got a little time. I have an early morning tomorrow. I get up 6 a.m. for prayer. Maybe one day I'll broadcast one of my prayer calls. But 6 a.m. I get up at 5:50, sometimes 5:57 for the 6 a.m. call. I don't look like this. My hair is all in pin curls. So no one has any questions? No one would want to work together? Tell me what we would work on if we work together? Y'all ain't got nothing to say. We done. Is that it? Strategy and planning. You got it right. I consider you wise counsel. Thank you so much. So we would work on strategy. Help me to be a Proverbs 31 woman. Have the mind of Christ. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. Hello, Monique. Or something, Monique. So y'all seem pretty quiet. You know what's interesting is a lot of times when there's an opportunity to ask a question like this, you miss out because you could get some complimentary coaching. How to package and present others, work on pricing. Glad you're here for the first time, Monique. So, packaging, write these down because these come up so fast sometimes. Pricing. All these P's: pushing through the fear, finding my purpose. Awesome. Pushing through fear. Planning and strategy. Okay, so I'll address a couple of these. I think I got most of them. Packaging, pricing, positioning, pushing through fear, purpose. It's dark in here, y'all. It's like nighttime, of course. Got this light on. Business building, how to get started. Oh, timeline. Recurring clients. A better phrase, repeat is not a bad word. I love the phrase recurring because it actually speaks to a different business principle. So I want you to start using the phrase recurring clients. Procrastination, overcoming that, gotcha. Wow, you have some good stuff. It just took you a second to get going. I love it. Ooh, creativity blocks, that's good. I definitely have some stuff around that. You got to get in motion. So some of y'all's just popped up and I missed it, but I'll go back and watch the replay. How to get unstuck. That's one of my husband's favorite topics. So let's see. Which one should I answer? Which one would help the most people before we lay our heads down? Y'all keep these coming. These are so good. Freedom from a poverty mindset. Oh my gosh. This is why this event's going to be 3 days. Do you see why now? Do you see why now? We can't do this in an hour. We can't do this in an hour. Norms and contracts. Thank you for sharing. Y'all, thank you. I appreciate that. Great questions. And y'all can still put those things up, just things that you would love for me to be able to help you with. So packaging, pricing, positioning, pushing through fear, purpose, planning and strategy, positioning yourself again, timeline for growing your business, overcoming fear, getting recurring clients, overcoming procrastination and creativity blocks, which I think are very similar, getting unstuck, freedom from the poverty mindset, forms and contracts. Oh, that's a good one as well. It's kind of similar to fear, but it's a little different. Confidence, believing in yourself. I love that one. Did I do time management? I may have said it, but I don't think I wrote it down. So thank you for bringing that one back up. So I'm actually going to go with this last one, time management. You know, time is an interesting thing because there's only so much of it that we have. We all have the same amount of time in a day, right? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I've seen this t-shirt that says Beyonce has the same amount of time as you and I. So we all get the same amount of time in a day. And the question is, what are we doing with that time? And, you know, I've never been a huge fan of just people telling you how to maximize more and do more in less time. There's nothing wrong with that. But the question is, like, why aren't we maximizing our time? Because, you know, if you think about it, like the night before you go on a trip, you get a lot done, don't you? Like, you haven't packed and you've been dragging your feet, but then when you have to do it, you get her done. Am I right? Am I the only one who does that? Like, and it's hard for me actually to pack early. There are some of my friends, they can pack a week or two in advance. They've got to plan everything out. I am what's called a quick start and a visionary, and I actually thrive on being in flow as opposed to strategy and structure. So I'm the type that naturally is unorganized and has had to discipline myself to be organized. Okay? So time management for me is an interesting thing. I became good with using my time because I hated losing. Right? I hated the outcomes of poor time management. And some of you aren't disturbed enough by the outcomes of poor time management. You know, you might be okay with not having what you want, not experiencing what you desire. At a certain point, it's not painful enough for you to be more organized and to have more prioritization. Time management is really about priorities. And number one, it's about priorities. And number two, it's about commitment. When you're more committed, there's this verse in the Bible that says, I've been quoting it a lot lately. I need to remember exactly where it is. I believe it's in Corinthians. Let me type it in here real quick. It says, I know it by heart, but I just don't remember where it is. It says, once the commitment is clear, you do what you can, not what you can't. The heart regulates the hands. You do what you can, not what you can't. Let me type this in real quick so I can tell you where. Once the commitment is clear, which scripture it is. Yep, it's 2 Corinthians 8:12 through 13. It's the Message version. I am going to remember that. I have the hardest time, y'all, remembering the addresses of where all these scriptures are. But my husband has said, you know what? It's better that it's actually in your heart. A lot of people have it in their mind and not in their heart. So that has given me a lot more comfort in that. But it says, once the commitment is clear, you do what you can, not what you can't. The heart regulates the hands. 2 Corinthians 8:12. This is pretty cool. So verse 13 says, this isn't so others can take it easy while you sweat it out. No, you're shoulder to shoulder with them all the way. The reason I love that, especially verse 12, is the reason why we procrastinate, why we don't maximize our time, is because our commitment isn't clear. It says in the scripture, once the commitment is clear, you do what you can, not what you can't. When you're procrastinating, you're thinking about all the things that you can't do, how far the distance is from where you are to where you're going, because you're not really committed yet, because you're looking at the conflict, you're looking at the obstacle, you're looking at the possible pain of getting started or the obstacles that you're going to face along the way. And so you end up not going all the way in because you're just not all the way in. So most of the time management is an issue because we're not committed. I think about how much my mother accomplished, and my dad too, working full-time jobs, having 2 kids, and then having my brother and I in so many different activities. me having the opportunity to train with one of the best baton twirling coaches in the world, to becoming a world champion in two baton, even though I'm legally blind in my left eye, to being able to go to the Miss America pageant. That took years. It was a 7-year journey, really more if you think about the time where the moment when I first got started. For them to be able to present a life, right, a quality of life, for us to be able to have those chances, to have private coaches, and my brother to play every sport there was, and to be a quarterback at Rice University. And they were working full time. Sometimes I'm not sure how I get as much stuff, how I can get stuff done in the day, and we don't have children yet, right? I'm amazed. I tip my hat off to every mama and papa here. But they did it because they were committed to us. They were committed to me and my brother Corey. And they just made things happen. They didn't focus on what they didn't have. But the word says, once the commitment is clear, you do what you can, not what you can't. God isn't asking for you to use what you don't have. He's just asking you to use what you do, and he's already given you the time. And once the commitment is clear, you just seem to make things happen when you stop taking time for granted. And so I would say that's the number one thing. I think that answers several questions here today about, how to get unstuck and how to move forward and how to create momentum. It really is having an appreciation for time and for being committed to the outcome, not the obstacle. You're not obsessed even with the outcome. You're more so concerned about obedience and surrender and alignment with what God desires for your life, and not taking grace for granted. Oh, it'll come around if it'll be, it is meant to be. That ain't scriptural, and that's not true. And a lot of people have missed opportunities to experience abundance and overflow because they took grace for granted. And I don't want you to live in regret. I believe that if you're listening to this right now, that means that your best is not only still ahead of you, but it's so close. You can probably feel it. Maybe hell is breaking loose in your life. That means you're about to step into something new if you discern it. And there will be a shift that happens in your life the moment that you commit. Not just walk around interested, but that you truly are committed. When you are interested, you do what's convenient. But when you're committed, you do what's necessary. So I say that as a woman who is stepping up her commitment to help other women and men step into the fullness of their potential. And so I want to thank you for being on with me. Thank you for those who are sharing it. It's still not too late if you want to swipe and invite, so this shows up on somebody else's timeline. For those of you watching on the replay, thank you for being here as well. I want to encourage you to share and invite others to be a part of this message as well. Connect with me at marshawn.com. Make sure you sign up that you're on the newsletter so that we can stay connected. You want to stay connected to a source that inspires you. If that is not me, I still God bless you, and I love you, and I believe in you. But if that has connected, if you feel like we have a connection of some sort, then I want us to continue that. All right? I want us to continue that. And I'll continue to do these. I'll continue to take questions. I do a lot of Q&As on my Facebook page at Ask Marshawn on Facebook. So I just want to pray that you have sweet sleep as you get ready to lay your head down, that God would bless you and give you peace and comfort, that also you would have assurance that he is working all things out on your behalf for tomorrow, knowing that all things work for good, that are called according to his purpose, and that his ways are higher than your ways. So as you sleep, know that higher plans are in operation, and to believe in those things. And so thank you, God. I thank you that you would bless every person under the sound of my voice. I thank you for their families, for their children, for their dreams, their desires, even their jobs. Thank you for health and wellness in the body and in the mind. Thank you for new opportunities and new provision and new mercies and new grace to just encompass these women, encompass us, God. Surround us, and the men as well, Lord. I thank you that you are not a respecter of persons. And so I thank you, Lord, for amazing futures. Thank you that fear has no chance against faith, and certainly doesn't even show up on the radar of belief. And so I thank you that we would operate in that unrealm scene, in that unrealm in that unseen realm, that we would operate in the unseen realm of belief and faith and hope and trust in the certainty of who you are, and that you will bring those things to pass, God, that you have been speaking and promising over our lives for a lifetime. And that through you, that's when the giants fall, right? So I'm going to wish you all good night. Put my song back on. And wish you all a good night. The stones in your hand might be small, but watch those giants fall, y'all. God bless you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'm blowing lots of kisses today. I'm feeling very loving. Feeling very loving. Good night, Arian. Good night, No Day Off 5. La Fox International, good night. Good night, good night. Wait. Good night, y'all.